Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. But everything changed when a meteorite fell on the Water Nation. This meteorite disrupted the balance of the world and ushered in an era of glaciations. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. Many years later, a young bender named Kaen emerged from the Fire Nation. Although Kaen is a powerful firebender, he still has much to learn to restore the world's balance. But I believe that Kaen can save the world.
Avatar Kaen Season 2, Episode 7. Divided Loyalties. The journey to the Fire Nation was long and grueling. Kaen and Iara trudged through frozen landscapes, their breath visible in the biting cold air. Despite the harsh conditions, Kaen's resolve remained unshaken. His goal was clear: to gain the support of the Fire Nation and its formidable army. Iara, though physically weak from exhaustion, never left his side, her quiet strength a reminder of their shared mission. The sprawling Fire Nation palace came into view as they crested the final ridge. Its grand spire stood defiant against the icy winds, flames dancing on its banners. Kaen felt a flicker of hope as he approached, but he knew his task would not be easy. Queen Azrithia was known for her fierce loyalty to her nation, and her long-held grudge against the Avatar. Kaen and Iara were escorted into the throne room, its massive walls lined with molten metal and adorned with tapestries depicting the Fire Nation's fiery history. At the far end sat Queen Azrithia, her presence regal and intimidating. Her eyes, sharp as daggers, narrowed as she regarded the young Avatar before her. So she began, her voice cold and cutting. "The Avatar has finally graced us with his presence. What brings you to my court, Avatar?" Kaen stepped forward, bowing respectfully. "Your Majesty, I come seeking your aid. The Water Nation is preparing to strike the Earth Nation. Their army grows stronger by the day, and without your support, the balance of the world may be lost." Azrithia's lips curled into a bitter smile. "Balance? Don't speak to me of balance, Avatar. Where was this balance when my husband, King Jia, was taken from me? Where were the spirits then? Where were you?" Her words hit Kaen like a physical blow. He had heard of King Jia's death, a tragedy blamed on an Avatar's failure to intervene during a crucial battle. Though Kaen had no part in the events, the legacy of past Avatars weighed heavily on him. "I understand your anger, Your Majesty," Kaen said, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "But I cannot change the past. What I can do is fight for the future, for your people, for all nations. The Water Nation won't stop with the Earth Nation. If they succeed, the Fire Nation will be next." Azrithia rose from her throne, her fiery robes billowing as if in response to her rising temper. "Enough. You speak of unity, yet all I see is a child desperate for allies to fight his battles. You will find no aid here. The Fire Nation owes you nothing." Her words cut deeper than Kaen expected. He clenched his fists, his flames flickering faintly at his sides, but he held his temper. "If you will not help for the sake of balance, then help for the sake of your people. The Fire Nation's strength could turn the tide." Azrithia's expression hardened. "Leave my court, Avatar, before I regret letting you step foot in it." Kaen turned, his heart heavy but his resolve burning brighter. As he and Iara left the throne room, he couldn't help but feel the weight of failure pressing down on him. Yet there was no time for despair. Outside the palace gates, Kaen found himself face to face with General Mizu, a seasoned firebender known for his strategic brilliance and loyalty to the Fire Nation. Mizu had overheard the Avatar's plea and approached cautiously. "You're bold to come here, Avatar," Mizu said, his tone unreadable. "The Queen has made her stance clear." Kaen nodded. "I know, General. But if the Fire Nation doesn't act now, it will only be a matter of time before the Water Nation's armies come for you. I'm asking for your help, not as the Avatar, but as someone who believes in protecting what's left of this world." Mizu studied the young Avatar, his eyes narrowing in thought. Without the Queen's approval, my hands are tied. Iara, her voice quiet but firm, stepped forward. Then untie them. The Avatar doesn't need everyone. Just someone brave enough to stand for what's right. Mizu's gaze lingered on Iara, then shifted back to Kaen. After a tense pause, he sighed. I'll help you, but this must be done carefully. The Fire Nation is proud, and any act against the Queen's wishes could cost us dearly. Kane's face lit up with gratitude. Thank you, General. Together, we can make a difference. As the trio began to plan their next steps, the winds of change howled through the Fire Nation. Far away, in the icy halls of the Water Nation, King Neria's armies continued to grow, his generals finalizing their strategy for domination. The battle for balance was on the horizon, and Kaen knew that every ally counted. As night fell, Kaen stared into the crackling flames of their small campfire, his mind racing with the challenges ahead. The path was treacherous, and the stakes had never been higher. But with allies like Mizu and the unwavering support of Iara, Kaen's flame burned stronger than ever.